Okay, so I just want to give you a little bit of insight into how important it is to actually regulate your heart rhythm and how easy it is to regulate heart rhythm breathing. So what you're seeing here on the shared screen is a very simple piece of software. It's simple to follow on the screen. It has a little handheld device that you can't see that I'm going to use a little bit later on just to show you, hopefully, how we go from being stressed to relaxation in probably just 2 or 3 minutes. So the screen you see here has got the HRV graph that's going to be the important signal that we read. HRV there means heart rate variability. And it's going to show how much the heart varies from beat to beat. I'm going to show you some examples so you can see the differences, but that variation in heart rhythm gives a clear indication of how stressed the body is. So when the trace is very erratic and irregular, the body's in a stress state, which is, or in a driving, when we're trying to achieve something, when we're attending to something, the heart rhythm moves about quite a lot. But to actually bring on in the body a state of deeper relaxation, the heart rhythm has to become really smooth and deep. And if I could just show you the difference here. So if we look at past sessions that I've done, this is probably implementing that. If you look here, what you can see is a fairly regular trace, just steadily going along. And what happens here, I'll move it back, because you can see down here that actually I started in the red zone, quite stressed, or probably been busy on a phone call. Maybe it was after a phone call I decided to just do a bit of breathing to settle myself down. And you could see I struggled for a little while and then eventually started to improve. As it goes higher up the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 4 and 5, up to 6 here, that means it's the coherence between my heart and my brain becoming really balanced. So we want to try and maintain our time in the green zone, but also trying to increase that level of coherence while we're in the green zone. I don't think this was a particularly good day. Some days I can average up here 4, 5, stretching up to 10 or 11. But I'm going to move the bar about. You can see here my irregular start, a little bit all over the place. I just want to show you another trace that maybe is more stressed, so you can see that. Here you can see the difference. So you've got the heart rate variability is really quite irregular, stretching up and down, quite all over the place. And you can see that I spend most of the time here. It may be me, it may be somebody else, but most of the time here, my body's still in a stress state. So using breathing to actually change the heart's rhythm has been known for thousands of years. Maybe not the science behind it, but the understanding that by breathing in a very deep, regular way, the body becomes relaxed. In the past, before we had the science to be able to detect it, it would have been a felt sense of relaxation, and people would have maybe instinctively known that they had to just slow down the breathing, deepen the breathing, and they knew that the body would relax. And this would have been instinctive in many people. Unfortunately, it's not part of our modern instincts. And we find ourselves probably driven for much of our day, and remembering that it's not just physical activity that causes the body to go into stress, it can actually be mental activity. when we're thinking about worrying things that generate anxiety, the body can go into the stress state, and if we're not careful, it can stay in the stress state. So when we start to breathe, firstly in a more regular pattern, that helps. But also if we then breathe deeper and regular, that starts to influence the way our heart's operating. And so by us breathing deeply and slowly, the heart synchronizes with the breathing and also starts to beat slowly and in a very rhythmic pattern, like the one I showed earlier. It's more rhythmic and more regular. So for this last part, I'm probably just going to have a go and see if I can show you. So I don't mind when I first start off being a bit stressed, but I'm hopefully going to be able to generate a little bit of relaxation so you can see the difference. So I'm not changing my breathing pattern at all at the moment, and I'm fully expecting that I should be, yeah, there you go. I'm showing here, over here, I'm in the red zone, which is low level of coherence. I'm improving a little bit now because I'm just relaxing into it. And here you can see my HRV changing over time. But I'm just going to try and regulate my breathing a little bit, so hopefully you can see some sort of difference. It's going to be quite a challenge to keep speaking and to be able to regulate my breathing, so please be patient if I go a little bit quieter as I start to just steady myself. But all you need to know is that I'm trying to establish a really slow, deep, regular breathing pattern. So hopefully I'm coming down a bit now, just after about 3 minutes. I may well dip the blue zone or the red zone. Physically, I'm feeling relaxed already, and hopefully you can see, and I'll just move the cursor so you can see that at this point, which is about this point here, because of the breathing patterns established, this is the heart rhythm as it starts to find a more even pace. And if I continued for longer, so my recommendation is that if you're going to do deep, regular belly breathing, try and maintain it for over 3 minutes, because after 3 minutes it establishes a fairly fixed regular heart rhythm, and that's where the signal from the heart to the brain changes. And the signal from the heart to the brain is to switch off the fight or flight system and allow the body to go into the parasympathetic system, into relaxation. And so the breathing pattern is the beginning of a chain of changes. So breathing changes first, heart rhythm aligns with breathing, the heart rhythm changes the signal that's going up to the brain, and the brain switches off the chemicals associated with stress and anxiety and fight or flight. And what follows after that is a deeper relaxation. The reason I've dipped here is because I'm active, I'm thinking, I'm trying to put ideas together, trying to put some words together that so I can describe what's happening. But I'm not going to do any longer with it, because I think it's enough. You've listened to plenty, but it was just a way of showing in a very real scientific way the advantages of stopping and just starting to change the breathing pattern. Slow it down, deepen the breathing, deep enough so that the belly's rising and falling, and that's when you know the breathing's deep enough. And what naturally follows, as you can see in the middle pattern, is that the heart rhythm aligns with the breathing, and within a few minutes it's changed the chemistry in your body and actually changed the way you feel it. And that gives you, for as long as you stay in the relaxed state, a break from stress and anxiety. It allows you to go into a full recovery, which is good for body and brain. So I'll just finish at that point. So thank you very much for listening, and good luck with your breathing practices.